This week on the Rental Report Review. Love Kills, Sid and Nancy, 1986. After 5 years of marriage, Diana discovers the joys of adultery. All Ladies Do It, 1992. Several people try to talk 27-year-old Noriko into marrying, but all she wants is to keep on caring for her widowed father. Late spring, 1949. In 1946, this man killed 5 people. Today, he still lurks the streets of Texarkana, Arkansas, the town that dreaded Sundown, 1976. The image of an adult world seen through a child's eyes. Pretty Baby, 1978. I wouldn't say I've seen a lot of biopics. I really can't stand most of them. They're not soaked in self-seriousness and self-importance, inaccurate to revisionist, tepid, Oscar bait, totally lacking a vision. They're cartoonishly lionizing or pillaring or reducing historical figures to some activism du jour. I mean, really, mostly, they're just boring as fuck. Alex Cox has somehow, mostly, avoided all of these pitfalls and leveraged 2 of the most nihilistic people ever adapted for the screen and made a beautiful, classical, lyrical, biographical tragedy. The thing that Alex Cox does best, and what this movie absolutely needed, is complicated characters. Characters animated by some fatalistic adherence to some unique arcane ideal. His characters stagger and crash and drag themselves ever towards that ideal. His characters may hurt others and themselves along the way. They may make amends or they may not, but they are driven over that horizon, whatever that horizon is. Sid and Nancy want, what, no part? Their own existence seems to be proof of the corruption and neglect of the Western superstructure. So fuck it and get out. I give Sid and Nancy 4 stars. There's a lot of fun homage to A Clockwork Orange, which is an interesting conceptual framing for the congenital outsiderism of Sid and Nancy. I just wish Cox was a little more punk. But I mean, maybe the classicism is also a perfectly fitting fuck you too. Gary Oldman pulls off the impossible, actor as musician. Chloe Webb feels pulled right out of the scene. Shout out Roger Deakins. His photography here is an often hypnotic use of natural light and color temperature.
Donne mie la fate a tanti, is sounded in gay cynicism by Mozart and Da Ponte in their Così tutte. In other words, women, you betray so many men.
So I don't know a goddamn thing about opera, and I'm not going to pretend to, but I do think it's goddamn hilarious and perfect and proper to adapt, update, comment on, and with a Mozart opera about fiancé swapping.
Just indented the margins a little.
Wasn't necessary information, but it does make this all the more delicious.
Oh yeah.
What an insult!
All Ladies Do It is so thoroughly an examination of sexual desire and repression and exploration and liberation that the mythic nature of its journey needs no external text to decode. To feel the thrilling experience of being led outside the reality tunnel of our embedded Western sexual mores, even if you don't completely agree with them.
Confined, cuckoldry takes a bit of patience for getting used to. Only you mustn't feel bad.
These are mythic struggles of agency, fidelity, identity, the fundamental nature of humanity, of the animal Homo sapiens, emanating from our ancient subconscious. This film not only plays and titillates in this environment, it challenges and explores boundaries with spiritual nuance and power, with a set of the most hilariously artificial penises I've ever seen. I mean, I hope there was more than one penis because they all looked exactly the same. I give All Ladies Do It 4 stars.
Headstrong, willful, and disobedient, but still a little uptight.
This movie is doubly, triply curious in its place at the beginning rollout of the HIV/AIDS awareness campaigns, the ones that blasted out as far as kids like me, terrified an entire generation off of sex, and also in its place at the rise of reactionary, censorious corporate home distribution channels of Blockbuster and Walmart. I mean, this was a storm of sexual terror and austerity that damn near wiped out all representations of sex that weren't strictly traumatic.
Take a look.
So this is one of the highest expressions of its form at the apex of its form. I guess what I'm saying is support your local independent video store and rent some pervy shit like this and get us back into having conversations about this.
Do you prefer?
Luscious cinematography and art direction, a perfect gallery bon vivants, Claudia Cole anchoring with enchanting turmoil.
I found this in Claudia Cole. An unusual, brilliant, as you'll see, intriguing, non-moral femininity. All ladies do it, is the film's title, true?
You bet. I think ladies are created just to make all the problems, and men have to solve them.
My, such philosophical perversity.
I bet Mozart would love this. I don't entirely know why I'm so late to fully exploring Ozu. I mean, I guess when I first saw Ran in 70mm and picked up Seven Samurai at Hollywood Video, I immediately went down the samurai trajectory until I later discovered the hyper avant-garde of the 60s and later. I don't know who I'm apologizing to here. I've zigged and now I'm zagging. That being said, just a few minutes in, I realized I've seen this. But 20 years ago. This is a deceptively complex film presented as a mostly tranquil reflection on a delayed maturation. But with someone like Ozu, of course, it goes deeper than that. It's about a young woman, father and daughter, family, society, a culture in the midst of radical transformation, just recovering from the war and looking out to an uncertain future. What do you take with you? What do you leave behind? What do you reject? What do you accept? Is there any choice? Any use resisting? Setsuko Ohara is, she's a little stinker, isn't she? She weaves effortlessly, cheekily, through her world until, she can't anymore. And she exquisitely captures the turmoil of living between worlds and the exhaustive serenity of acceptance. I give Late Spring 4.5 stars. There's a lot made about Ozu's low framing and crossing the line and all that, but I love probably most of all the lingering poetic interstitials. Pretty sure Nerdwriter covered this topic exactly. But it is interesting to be sitting here in 2024 and looking back at 1949 and just seeing Ozu and everything from American international art house independent cinema to transgressive genre thrillers to Evangelion. I also love that no one in this is really angry at or with anyone else in this film, despite the intense pressure of tradition, family, society, and biology. They're all just trying to get through it, and it's actually pretty hilarious. It felt like standing barefoot in a cool stream on the humid precipice of summer.
Samuel P. Fuller, age 24. Linda Mae Jenkins, age 19. Brutally attacked March 3rd, 1946.
What's the thing? A compliment sandwich? I think I can muster a compliment open-face sandwich. This has some sultry, late 70s, low-budget, studio-style lighting. It's a more than competent mix of naturalistic atmosphere, aesthetic slow-motion action, and oily Caravaggio night scenes. It's a look and a vibe.
Mrs. Reed shot twice, but survived. This man's identity is unknown.
Where this film falls short is in any construction or depiction of narrative or character or action.
World War II had just ended. In Texarkana, Arkansas, boys had come home to their families.
The town that dreaded Sundown attempts some sort of quasi in cold blood come Texas Chainsaw Massacre or something like that, but has nary a handle on either form much less is able to fit them together in a chilling or suspenseful or terrorizing or coherent way.
Charles B. Pierce brings this incredible, shocking, and true story to the screen.
And even still, all the while, looking down its nose at the genre, the investigating archetypes, the Southerners, all of it, this feels like it was made with mild to moderate disdain for itself. Is this an early attempt at elevated horror?
A phantom who, so far, hasn't made any mistakes.
Andrew Prine as
It's too bad, because there is a classic hidden in this morass.
The only thing we really do know is that we've got a very strange person on our hands.
I give The Town That Dreaded Sundown 2.5 stars. If you want an infinitely better ambiguous investigation, I mean, Zodiac is up there.
The Town That Dreaded Sundown, a true story.
If you want a better slasher, Throw a Rock. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm glad this exists. It was all just right there. The first Louis Malle film I saw was Elevator to the Gallows, followed many years after by Au revoir les enfants, which sabered me right in the heart.
In 1917, the red light district of New Orleans was called Storyville.
I soon followed with Murmur of the Heart and became a Malle zealot. The man is unflinching, unwavering in his examinations. There is no shadowy corner he will not dare to go and find staggering humanity. Even when it's just two guys chatting or some girl taking the bus. You know when you step into a Malle film that, well, you should buckle up.
Pretty Baby.
What will become of her now?
I'm gonna stay here.
The first rule of humanism is that you cannot look away. You cannot avert your gaze. When you do, you insulate and exacerbate the problem. I think this film takes on a worthy aspiration of being seen through young Violet's eyes, from her point of view. There are just some things you can't mediate, for good reason. And as such, in live-action film about the sexual commoditization of young bodies, you inherently have to pull some punches.
You love my mother more than me. I know about those things better than you. You always know those things about men when you're a woman.
Some men are different. I'm different. Well,
I give Pretty Baby 3.75 stars. I don't know what to do with this. It's a noble effort that runs into pretty much the same problem Kubrick's Lolita did. You cast a young actor, and there are many things you shouldn't and can't ask them to perform. Too old, and you lose suspension of disbelief, and the entire intent and impact is squandered. So far, the best attempt at anything like this is probably the few Brillat films I've caught so far. And maybe Big Mouth on Netflix? I don't know. All credit to Brooke Shields. This is an insanely brave and trusting performance.
Louis Malle's Pretty Baby.
This week, my weekly pick of the week is Late Spring. I was not prepared for how funny this was. It made the crushing cosmic blows that much more crushing and that much more cosmic. This is the real damn drama this week. This week's weekly bonus feature is Sid and Nancy is a spectacular work of biographical fiction that's authentic and artistic as it gets, but I was so much more thrilled with All Ladies Do It. The pervs have it. Thank you so much for watching. You can follow me on Instagram and X to see what movies I'm renting next. And pretty much everything is on my letterbox. I am going to go watch some more movies. I hope you do too. Pretty well.